The faith of a mustard seed. The statement from Yeshua, King of Kings, concerning the faith of a mustard seed is not for one's comfort or some sort of motivational posturing. It is in fact a performance review delivered to you and I, straight from the throne room of Yahweh Almighty, that is calling out our lack of execution in regards to the kingdom of heaven's plan for our eternal salvation. He does not applaud the large subpar performing congregations of the world's churches, their scripted prayers, or their emotionally charged testimonies. He pulled a microscopic seed from the soil of the earth and declared with corporate clarity that this tiny thing outperforms the majority of those who claim to follow him or the words that he spoke. Our Messiah was not soothing egos that day, he was indicting them, just as he does to this very day. Case in point, genuine faith is not some product that you advertise. Genuine faith is not a brand you wear on a Sunday t-shirt. It is not positive thinking, nor is it a hope or an affirmation. Genuine faith is functional trust. Obedience that moves without a hint of negotiation, confidence that reacts without requiring a single applause, loyalty that executes the strategic directives of Yahweh Almighty, even when the environment roundabout is hostile and the numbers just don't add up through physical observation. The mustard seed is very small, nearly invisible, yet when it is placed in the ground, it doesn't question its assignment. It doesn't schedule a committee meeting to make one feel secure. It doesn't wait to even feel inspired to get started on its mission. You know what it does? It declares war on the soil and forces growth to take place through pressure and through the darkness until its roots disrupt the very earth that dared to try and cover it up. Yeshua chose this seed because it doesn't pretend, it doesn't brag, it only produces, it expands, it dominates its space, it fulfills the mission encoded within it by its creator without delay, without excuses, without asking permission from the mountain in front of it. Can I grow, please? How about mankind? Yes, mankind wants faith to be glamorous. We want to be seen by the masses, speaking to mountains instead of actually obeying the architect who made the mountains. We love being the image of authority, yet most people tremble at the first sign of real resistance. People love to talk loud as if they're in an empty room, but go silent when the real battlefield requires authentic conviction. Yeshua Messiah exposed the scandal then, and now in these last days. You see, the problem is not that our faith is too small, but that our obedience to the faith once delivered to the saints is too conditional. We want power without the submission. We want miracles without discipline. We want spiritual success without the corporate ethics of true righteousness. But the mustard seed has no doubt because it has no outside competing agenda. It doesn't wake up every morning trying to remain living in comfort. It doesn't crave applause or attention from humanity. It has one KPI: to grow as commanded, period. Growth requires confrontation. The confrontation of darkness, of pressure, of time, and of resistance. Mountains move because genuine faith makes them move. Faith moves when our obedience activates it. Obedience activates our faith when we surrender our egos and align with the executive orders of our Creator. But many people choose religious theatrics over the kingdom of heaven's actions, which is testimonies over transformation and slogans over sacrifice. Yahshua's statement is a disciplinary memo stamped with eternal authority. If the smallest seed can outperform your entire spiritual resume, then you have a whole lot of restructuring to do in your life. The mountain is not the issue. The economy is not the issue. The enemies around you are not the issue. The issue is your so-called faith that has been downsized due to doubt, outsourced because of fear, and silenced by the comfort of your social complacency. People quote the verse, but continue to ignore the requirement. They love to celebrate the promise, but reject the process. The faith of a mustard seed means that you don't just speak, you must first execute. You don't just claim the promises, you must first comply with the conditions. We don't just believe the word, we move to the fact of its validity. Therefore, if you refuse to move faithfully within that faith, do not blame the mountain for just standing still. Many mountains are waiting for our orders. They are waiting to hear the voice of someone who knows that they stand under the kingdom of heaven's authority. Creation does not bow to those who merely attend service. It bows to those who obey the commander of heaven's armies. When Yeshua said, "You could say to this mountain," he was not empowering his believers with arrogance. He was commissioning our alignment. Power flows through ordained channels that are submitted to, not through hearts that are double-minded. The mustard seed example teaches us that size is irrelevant, appearance means nothing, and excuses have no value in the kingdom's economy. Yahweh has never required massive acts of faith. He has always required pure faith, undiluted, undistracted, undebated. Faith that does not waste time comparing itself to what others believe. Faith that is willing to be planted, buried, unseen, and uncelebrated until the breakthrough comes up through the fertile soil. This message corrects every so-called follower who has justified their inaction with the lie, "I need more faith." No, you need less doubt. You need less rebellion. You need less negotiation with Yahweh's instructions. You need less attachment to your comfort and more commitment to your calling. Your mountains are not waiting for your strength. Your mountains are waiting for your complete obedience. Yeshua did not give us permission to remain weak and uninformed. He gave us a mandate to activate our faith. So when our faith refuses to activate, we become audited failures in righteousness in the kingdom's performance report. Since the smallest seed can grow into a tree that provides shelter, shade, and sanctuary for animals and others, why do so many who claim to embrace righteousness remain barren? How many sermons have you heard? How many scriptures have people quoted? How many prayers have been cried out while you keep refusing to move in the direction that Yahweh Almighty commanded you to go? The faith of a mustard seed is not emotional hype. It is a corporate disruption. It is an ordained insurgency against every other system, internal or external, that stands in opposition to the will of the Almighty. We were not called to admire mountains. You were not appointed to fear them. You were chosen to remove them. So if your life is surrounded by immovable structures like cycles of sin, chains of insecurity, or giants of circumstance, do not accuse the Creator of being silent. Conduct an internal performance review. Identify the doubt disguised as logic, identify the fear that's disguised as humility, and the rebellion disguised as personal preference. Then terminate every single trace of them. Immediately. Faith is measurable in motion. If you will not move, your faith is unemployed. An unemployed faith does not get promoted into the kingdom of heaven. Yeshua spoke a line that should shake every soul awake. If your faith were real, even at the smallest level imaginable, the impossible would be your normal. Mountains would not boast in your face. They would bow before the authority invested in you by the Creator of the whole universe. This is a correction, people. This is discipline. This is a wake-up call to every believer hiding behind the illusion that they are waiting on Yahweh while heaven is waiting on them. Faith is not a feeling. It is an executive function. It is time to activate the assignment. Move what he told you to move. Confront what he told you to confront. Build what he commanded you to build. Leave what he told you to leave. Speak what he told you to speak. Do not admire the mustard seed. Become the mustard seed. Grow with force. Expand without apology. Execute the mission. So when the mountain tries to block your expansion, command it to move and watch creation respond to your obedience. Because Yeshua does not lie. The faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. The only question left on the table is whether your faith is truly faith and is truly alive, or if you're still a pretender. In Messiah's name, service, and right hand. So be it.